Did you know that you can stop buying garlic at the market forever by planting just a few cloves a single time? Yes, exactly as it sounds. While most people spend money month after month paying a high price for garlic that is often imported, stored for months, and arrives with a weak aroma, you can have fresh, organic garlic always available at home at an almost ridiculously low cost. And the best part is that homegrown garlic is on another level. It has more strength, more flavor, more fragrance. It is completely different. Today on Botanical Vault, I am going to teach you the complete method for planting garlic and getting abundant harvests year after year without ever buying it again. These are simple but decisive techniques that make the difference between harvesting small, useless garlic or harvesting large, uniform bulbs worthy of an organic fare. And stay until the end, because I am going to tell you the secret that transformed my production and literally tripled the size of my garlic. Before we continue, if you are interested in food independence and real savings, the kind you notice in everyday life, subscribe to Botanical Vault and turn on the bell. Every video is one more step toward making your garden truly productive. Now think about this. 1 kilogram of fairly decent garlic can cost 15 Rs or more. If you cook regularly, garlic is a daily ingredient, 2 or 3 cloves a day, and suddenly you are easily spending around 200 Rs a year or even more. And the most absurd part is that this garlic often comes from far away, is stored for months, arrives tired and without potency, and you still pay a high price for it. On the other hand, when you plant garlic at home, you always have fresh garlic on hand with maximum flavor and properties, and the cost is extremely low. You plant once, harvest hundreds of cloves, save part of them to replant, and the cycle can continue endlessly. I, for example, have not bought garlic for 3 years. I plant every year between March and May. I harvest between October and December, and I have enough garlic for the whole year with extra to give to family and friends. That is real food independence and something you use practically every day. And that is the knowledge I want to share with you today, how to free yourself from the market through a simple crop, but done with technique. Let us go to the first secret, because this is where most people fail, choosing the right cloves. The most common mistake is this. People buy any garlic, separate the smallest leftover cloves, and plant them expecting to harvest large bulbs. And it does not work that way. The quality of what you plant directly determines the quality of what you harvest. If you plant small, weak cloves, you are going to harvest small, weak bulbs. The ideal garlic for planting comes from large, firm, healthy bulbs without spots, and if possible from varieties adapted to your climate. Imported garlic, especially the kind that comes from China, often does not adapt well and produces little. Ideally, you should get seed garlic from local growers or organic markets. But if you do not have access to that, you can still use market garlic as long as you follow clear rules. Choose the largest and heaviest bulbs you can find. Prefer national purple garlic instead of imported white garlic. And check that the bulb is firm, without spots, and without premature sprouting. And when you separate the cloves, here is a golden rule. Use only the outer cloves, which are the largest. Do not plant the small inner cloves, use them in the kitchen, because each large clove tends to produce a large bulb, and each small clove tends to produce a small bulb. It is simple math. I learned this by making mistakes. The first year, I planted cloves of all sizes, even the small inner ones, and I harvested garlic of all sizes, many of them tiny and useless. The second year, I planted only large cloves, and the difference was brutal. Large, uniform bulbs with a completely different appearance. Now, before planting, there is a trick that for me is almost mandatory: vernalization. Leave the whole bulbs in the refrigerator for 30 days. That simulates the cold winter that garlic needs to form well-developed bulbs. If you plant without that previous cold period, especially in warm regions, the garlic may grow leaves, but not form bulbs the way it should. How do you do it easy? Put the whole unpeeled bulbs inside a paper bag and place them in the refrigerator. Do not freeze them, just chill them. After 30 days, take them out, separate the cloves, and plant them. This simple technique greatly increases the success rate and the final bulb size. Now let us move on to the second secret: the correct planting season. Many people plant garlic at any time of the year and then complain that it does not bulb. Garlic has its season, and respecting it is essential. The crop needs 2 phases. First, it needs to grow in mild to cold weather. Then it needs to form the bulb with warmer temperatures and longer days. In other words, it needs a cool period to build the plant, and then heat and long days to fatten the bulb. In the south and southeast of Brazil, the ideal window is usually between March and May in autumn. You plant in autumn, it grows in winter, and it bulbs in spring. You harvest between October and December. In warmer regions, it is usually planted between April and June, taking advantage of the cooler months. But honestly, in places with constant heat and no defined winter, garlic can produce, yes, but with smaller bulbs. In my case, here in Sao Paulo, I plant at the end of April, and at the latest by mid-May. If you plant late, the garlic gets less cold, and the bulbs come out smaller. If you plant too early, it sprouts before the ideal moment. And here is a traditional sign my grandmother used when the swallows arrive. It is time to plant garlic. It sounds simple, but it makes sense. They usually arrive when the temperatures start to drop. It is ancient knowledge that often works better than any theory. Third secret: prepare the soil correctly. This point is one of the most ignored and one of the most decisive. Garlic is demanding. In poor or compacted soil, the bulbs come out small and deformed. In loose, deep, rich, and well-drained soil, the bulbs can become enormous. The ideal soil for garlic should be loose, deep, rich in organic matter with excellent drainage and a pH between 6 and 7. Garlic does not tolerate waterlogging or compacted soil. Its roots need to enter easily and breathe. Preparation begins at least 1 month in advance. You dig the bed to about 30 centimeters, loosen, and turn the soil well. Then you add mature compost or cured manure in a generous amount, at least 5 kilograms per square meter. In addition, I add bone meal for phosphorus, essential for roots and bulbs, and wood ash for potassium. 2 tablespoons of each per square meter, mixed in very well. Then I let the bed rest for 2 or 3 weeks before planting. That resting period allows everything to integrate and makes the nutrients truly available. I also check the pH. If it is too acidic, I correct it with agricultural lime. If it is too alkaline, I correct it with sulfur. It may seem like a detail, but garlic is sensitive to a pH outside the proper range. Ever since I started preparing the soil this way, the size changed visibly. Bulbs that used to have a diameter of 5 centimeters grew to 8 or 9 centimeters. It is a huge jump. Fourth secret: plant the right way. Here too, there are details that change everything. It is not just a matter of sticking the clove into the soil. Proper spacing avoids competition and allows each plant to have enough resources. Between cloves in the same row, leave 10 to 15 centimeters. Between rows, leave 20 to 25 centimeters. That space ensures light air and nutrients. Depth matters. Plant the clove with the tip facing upward and cover it with 3 to 5 centimeters of soil. If you plant too deep, it takes longer to sprout. If you plant too shallow, it can dry out or become exposed. I open furrows at the proper depth, place the cloves with the tip facing upward, cover them with soil, press gently, and water well. The soil should remain moist to stimulate rooting. And here is another simple prevention trick. Before planting, soak the cloves for 15 minutes in a solution of water with 1 tablespoon of baking soda per liter. That disinfects them and greatly reduces the risk of fungi and rot right when the clove begins to sprout. Since I started doing this, emergence became more uniform and losses almost disappeared. After planting, I always add a light layer of straw or dry grass over the bed. This mulch keeps moisture stable, reduces weeds, protects the soil from sudden temperature swings, and makes cultivation much easier from the beginning. 5th secret care during growth. Garlic is not complicated, but it does need consistency. In the first stage, while roots and leaves are forming, the soil should remain slightly moist, never dusty, dry, and never soaked. I usually water 2 or 3 times a week, adjusting according to rain and temperature. Too little water weakens the plant. Too much water encourages disease and can ruin the bulb before it even develops. And here is a key detail. About 1 month before harvest, when the lower leaves begin to yellow, you must reduce irrigation and then stop it completely. This dry finishing period helps the bulb mature, harden the outer skin, and store much better afterward. If you keep watering until the end, the bulb stays too tender, cures poorly, and tends to rot in storage. Feeding during growth also helps. Around 45 to 60 days after planting, when the plants are established, I place worm humus, or very mature compost, around the rows without touching the stems. This keeps development steady without forcing excess leaf growth. Garlic rewards balanced nutrition. Another essential task is weed control. Garlic does not compete well. Weeds steal water, light, and nutrients, and the result appears directly in the final size of the bulb. That is why mulch is such a powerful ally. Even so, I inspect the bed often and remove any invading plants while they are still small. And there is one more point that changes the harvest. Some varieties produce a flower stalk, a central stem that rises and curls. Cut it as soon as it appears. If you leave it there, the plant sends energy upward into flowering instead of downward into the bulb. I remove all the stalks early, and bulb size improves clearly. 6th secret: the exact harvest point. If you harvest too early, the bulb is still small and poorly wrapped. If you harvest too late, the cloves begin separating and storage becomes worse. The ideal moment is when about half of the leaves are already yellow and dry, while the rest still keeps some green. That balance usually means the bulb reached a good size and still has enough protective skin. I never harvest only by the calendar. I confirm by pulling 1 or 2 test plants. If the bulb is well formed, the cloves are defined, and the outer wrapper feels firm and papery, the bed is ready. Harvest on a dry day, preferably after the morning humidity is gone. I loosen the soil gently with a fork and pull the plants carefully by hand. And here is another common mistake. Do not wash the bulbs. Just shake off the loose soil and keep the leaves attached. Then cure the plants in a dry, ventilated, shaded place for 2 or 3 weeks. I either hang them in small bunches or lay them on a screen with good airflow. When the outer skins are dry and crisp and the neck is tight, the garlic is ready for storage. Now comes the secret I promised. At the beginning, the one that truly changed my results. It is not a miracle fertilizer, and it is not an expensive product. It is selection. Every year after curing, I separate the largest, healthiest, most uniform bulbs and keep them only for replanting. They become my seed stock for the next cycle. This simple habit changes everything. By planting only cloves from the best bulbs year after year, You gradually adapt the crop to your own soil, climate, and cultivation style. After a few cycles, the plants become more uniform, stronger, and more productive. Size improves, but so do vigor and storage life. That is why I always say this clearly: never plant your worst garlic. Plant your best. After curing, store the garlic in a cool, dry, dark, ventilated place. I trim the roots, cut the leaves leaving a short neck, and keep the bulbs in mesh bags, shallow crates, or braids where air can circulate well. Closed plastic is a mistake because it traps humidity. Once a month, I inspect everything. Any bulb that softens or begins to sprout gets used first. And here is the practical beauty of this crop. With a relatively small bed, you can harvest enough bulbs for daily cooking and still save the best ones for replanting. One season feeds the next. Little by little, you stop depending on the market and start producing a basic ingredient you use all the time. If bulbs stay small, the usual causes are poor soil, irregular moisture, or weed competition. If they do not form properly, the problem is often lack of cold or wrong planting time. If the cloves rot, drainage and excess water are usually to blame. Correct the cause, and the next cycle responds. That is what makes garlic so rewarding. It is simple enough for a beginner, but technical enough that every improvement appears clearly underground. You plant with intention, care, with consistency, harvest at the right point, save the best, and repeat. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever planted garlic before? Did it go well, or did you run into problems with small bulbs rot or poor sprouting? Tell me in the comments because I read everything. If this video helped you understand how to stop buying garlic and start harvesting your own supply with quality and savings, leave a like and subscribe to Botanical Vault. Plant with patience, harvest with pride, replant the best, and free yourself from the market. A warm hug.